You're a soccer coach. Probably you've went online to search for new exercises and new material so you can improve your coaching abilities. So you've probably seen that video before. What most coaches got from that video was, of course, the exercise. It is useful for training defensive balance and defensive cover. But the exercise is not all that we can extract from that Simeone's video. So what else could we extract that could be useful for us in our coaching journey? Let's see that today. Hi, I'm Dimitri Mello. This is the Soccer Excellence Mentor channel on YouTube, soccer content for coaches, players, and aficionados. Most coaches are anxious to get an exercise or to extract the exercise or to copy exercises from other coaches, majorly from important and successful coaches from big teams such as Simeone. So they come online, they see the video, they get the exercise, they write the exercise down, and they apply the exercise in their teams, not taking in consideration the details of the application of the exercise. They just care about the exercise, as if the exercise was the one responsible for teaching your team the traits you want to teach them. And that's not true. The exercise is far from being the most important tool to develop a behavior in a team. Dimitri, why are you saying that? How is that possible? Well, let me give you an example. Most academies throughout the world, and the Barça Academy that I coordinated for 2.5 years in Rio de Janeiro, we give the same session for all the coaches in the same age group. For example, in a specific week, all our under 9 coaches will apply the same session to their different teams, the same exercises in the same order to correct the same things. Okay? What you see is that by the end of the week, when those teams play against each other, they are in different stages of development. And then you can ask, okay, Dimitri, how can that happen if they just executed the same training sessions during the week? Well, it's very simple. Their coaches were different. So the coach is the one that emphasizes one situation or the other and corrects one situation or the other, and therefore the players will improve from those corrections. So the exercise is just responsible for making situations happen, but the coach is the one responsible for correcting these situations and bringing the desired behavior to the players and to the game. Okay? That's why even if you apply the same training session as Simeone, you're going to probably achieve different results because you're not applying the same details that he is doing. So in this video, we're going to analyze that. But first, let's get that exercise out of the way because I know you guys like exercises. Okay, so this is the exercise we're talking about. Basically, 4 lanes, 2 zones, indirect opposition, meaning the team that is defending cannot take the ball away from the team that is attacking. Okay, so it is indirect opposition. They can only cover passing lanes. They cannot invade the opponent's zone and steal the ball. Indirect opposition. The attackers need to connect the pass to their attackers, to their strikers, and score. The strikers need to score. And the defenders need to steal the ball to become attackers. Of course, they need to cover the passing lanes, balance from one side to the other, steal the ball, and then become attackers. That's basically the exercise. And the most important thing in this exercise is to correct defensive balance and defensive cover, such as this. For example, if that blue player passes to another blue player, reds need to move accordingly to close all the passing lanes towards the blue players placed behind them. Okay, so basically that they are always balancing. And what you can notice here, one of the most important things that you can notice here is the different heights from the red players in order to close all the possible spaces where the ball could go between them towards the blue players behind them. Okay, that's very important, and you're going to see that on the video too. So this is the exercise. This exercise is very useful. I've used it myself, and it works very well if you apply it correctly. Now, let me give you a variation for this exercise just as a bonus for this video. So this is the variation I propose to you if you want to bring this exercise to another level. So now we have the same 4 lanes, now 3 zones, not 2 zones anymore, so 3 teams. Direct opposition in the lane where the ball is. I'm going to explain that. In the rest, it's indirect opposition. The exercise is now cyclical. All transitions are included. And the attackers need to connect the pass, and the defenders need to steal the ball and pass to the other team. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So I've added one more zone to add one more team. There is direct opposition in the lane where the ball is, meaning that blue players got the ball and the red player in the same lane is allowed to enter his zone, the blue zone, and steal the ball from him. Okay, so now that makes it even faster and demands even faster decision making from blues to avoid reds from stealing the ball. Also, once blues connect the pass to yellows, now reds need to press yellows. So the exercise never stops. This means cyclical, means it comprises all the transitions that the game can comprise. Offensive transition and defensive transition, because the team that loses the ball needs to go press and the team that just recovered the ball needs to make a safe pass and take their spaces in the respective zone. So this exercise is a step forward in relation to the other because first it's cyclical, so all the transitions are present here, so the exercise never stops. And for me this is very important because I don't want to be stopping. I don't want my players to have that little moments where we need to stop to reset the exercise. I feel there is moments of lack of concentration when this happens, so I always prefer to use cyclical exercises that never stop because I can demand constant focus from my players. Okay, so this is the variation to this Simeone's exercise that I would recommend you. Let me know what you think of this. Comment in the comment section below and let me know if you have better ideas of how to variate this exercise to get even better results. But now let's watch again that video, first without sounds and then with sounds, so we can know exactly what details we could extract from that Simeone video, from Simeone's coaching style, that would be, in my opinion, much more useful to you than just this training exercise. Why? Because you can bring these details to every exercise that you do, to all your training sessions, and these corrections, these details will be the ones responsible for bringing your coaching style to the next level. So let's see what are they. Okay, so as I told you, first we're going to see that video without any sounds, so we can just analyze the images and see what we can extract from the behavior of the players and the intensity. Okay, so let's see that now. First, notice the defenders setting the pace for the exercise. Now reds are defending and they're always very intense, very fast, running to wherever they need to be right now, and the different heights from the players. So for example, I'm going to stop in a precise moment here where reds are the way I want. Okay, right now. For example, what you see here from reds is first, the red that is in the same lane where the ball is almost in the limit line that he can be. So he attacks the most space forward as he can attack. What does that mean? That means that in the game, if the ball is in front of you or in your lane, you should be moving forward to avoid the opponent from gaining space in that lane that belongs to you, and it's your responsibility to avoid the opponent from advancing in that lane. Okay, so this is the first thing that we can extract from this video here, is that you need to be correcting defenders to deny space as fast as they can. Second thing is different heights. Look at the closest red player to the red player applying pressure. Let's call this pressure. Let's call this cover, and the others are balance. Okay, so pressure, cover, and balance. So pressure is as close to the ball as it can get. Cover is as behind as it needs to be to close the most urgent passing lane behind pressure. That's very important. Okay, now the players that are doing balance are doing the same thing as cover, but considering the second and third passes away from the ball. Okay, so they are closing the next options that the blue team can seize behind them, and trying to understand if this blue player passes to this player, or this player, what vulnerable zones and lanes would be between us. So we need to close them now and be prepared to close them as fast as possible. Let's keep the exercise running and see if we find a better moment that we can analyze something else. Again, here you can see how quickly reds change. And again, look at that, the different heights from reds. Now this red is in the lane where the ball is. He's stepping the line, so denying the most space that he can deny. And the other players are applying cover. Direct, immediate players to the pressure are applying cover. And the player far away from the pressure is applying balance. And you can see the three different heights here. One horizontal line here, another horizontal line here, and another horizontal line where only the balance player is. Okay, so these are the different heights, and they are placing themselves in different heights to close all the possible passing lanes between them. Look as how the wide players, this red player and this red player, have come together with the middle lanes, very close to the middle lanes, to close every passing lane into the middle first, so they can leave the wide open, because in the field, in the real game, you always want to close the middle spaces first and push the opponent to the sides where the goal is not far away from the goal. So now that we've analyzed the intensity of the defenders and the behavior of the defenders, so first the defenders need to run as fast as possible to cover the spaces they need to cover, and they need to move accordingly, meaning cover and balance. They need to cover the passing lane and the spaces necessary. We're going to now watch this video with sound to see what other cues, what other details we can extract from this video and from Simeone's coaching style. So let's get into that. Okay, so now we're going to watch this video with sound so we can understand what is Simeone doing, what stimuli is he giving his players, and why. First, he's saying, now I like it, now you go as you want it. Why is he emphasizing that? And he's saying that repeatedly. Now I like it, now I like it, now you want it, now you go as you want it, now I like it. Why is he doing that? He is emphasizing mindset. The players will not run properly and intensely if they do not understand why they are doing that and the benefits from doing that. And that's called mindset. How do you set up the mindset of your players? By explaining to them and showing to them the benefits of doing the things that you want them to do and the bad parts of not doing what you want them to do. So when you show them that, you convince them that actually by doing what you are telling them, they get more success in their plays, they get more intensity, and this benefits them and their team the most. So always adjust the mindset of your players, invest time in being intense in your voice and recognizing their mindset and validating the correct mindset and correcting the bad mindset. Okay, let's keep watching. Constant voice corrections to the defenders. Again, this exercise is focused on correcting defenders, defensive cover, and defensive balance. So the head coach is focusing on correcting the defenders. Okay, so he's giving voice commands to adjust the height and how efficient the defenders are in closing the passing lanes and how fast they are in executing their job well. This is the one. Now inside, this is the one. He's always trying to give cues with his voice of what he wants, the behavior he wants from his players, what is working and what's not working. So if the players are doing something that is not working, you will hear him voice something in the sense of not there, not this, maybe that, etc. If the players are doing something that he likes, he will emphasize that what they did, repeat it to them as to voice to them what they did. For example, you found the space in the wide lane, good, etc. So they can understand and repeat the behavior as the training keeps going. Notice the different heights. Now inside, this, exactly, he's still correcting. Look at the emphasis, the different tones in his voice. Let me go back here. Again, these are the different tones that he uses to emphasize one thing or another. So when there is a very good play, they connect a pass that is very difficult, for example, or the defenders balance correctly and the attackers manage to break the defenders anyway, he emphasizes that, say, nice, very good one, because now he wants to emphasize the success in attackers so he can correct defenders even better. Okay, so you can only improve your defenders if your attackers are also improving. Also, notice another thing here. There is two coaches. One coach, the head coach, Simeone, is giving voice commands to the defenders, emphasis commands, and he is regulating the most important thing in the exercise, which is cover and balance from defenders. But his assistant coach is managing what? The ball. He's feeding the exercises with balls all the time. Every time a ball goes out, he puts a new ball, and he's focusing on secondary topics in this exercise. For example, they want the attackers to touch only twice on the ball as they receive the ball, so only 2 touches on the ball. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm not a big fan of limiting touches, but why does that make sense here? Because majorly this exercise is indirect opposition. So in indirect opposition, you need to force your attackers to play faster because the focus is on defenders. So this makes sense here that he limits the touches here, because otherwise attackers could be with the ball anytime they want. This would slow the exercise down and would not force defenders to move as intensely as they are moving in this setup. Before Luca, he is correcting one simple and very subtle behavior, which is to attack in space timely, in that time or before or after, etc., etc. Timing is very, very important for the game for both attackers and defenders. If someone is on a bad timing or the timing is wrong for one player, your entire team dynamic can be compromised because of that. So let's recap everything that we've extracted from this exercise besides the exercise. The first thing that we can get from this exercise is the intensity from the defenders. Move to cover space as fast as possible. So you saw that investing time in developing an intense behavior from your defenders will increase the overall intensity of your exercise and of your training session. So invest time in developing intensity, mostly in defenders, and defenders will be the ones responsible for developing intensity in the entire exercise. If the exercise has indirect opposition, you need to limit a little bit the attackers to keep the intensity going for the defenders. So the first thing here that you should be extracting from Simeone besides the exercise is the level of intensity with which he is executing the exercise and the level of intensity that he demands from his players and trains his teams in. The second aspect that we can extract from this video is the constant voice stimuli. We can constantly see the head coach giving voice stimulus to the players, both attackers and defenders, but focusing most on the most important part of the exercise, but giving constant stimulus to them so they know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. So he's giving emphasis to what's right, what's wrong, so players can adjust their mindset as they navigate the exercise. The third thing that we can get from this exercise is instant correction or praise feedback. So you don't wait for the end of the session to talk about a mistake or to talk about a success or to talk about something important. You talk about it as it happens, because this will make sure that the players have it in mind and emphasize that behavior properly so they can repeat it or not, depending on the behavior, in the rest of the training session and in the rest of the exercise. It's very important to validate behavior as it happens, because this is what will shape the behavior of your team. This is what will define what behaviors your players will do the most and what behaviors they will try to neglect. The fourth aspect that we can extract from this video is that each coach has different tasks. What do we mean? First, the head coach is correcting defensive balance and is setting the pace and intensity of the exercise. While he's doing that, his assistant coach corrects secondary topics and feeds ball. In this case, he's correcting only 2 touches from attackers and feeding the exercises with balls, so the intensity of the exercise keeps high. If there's too much time, too much delay between one ball, the ball that just got out, and the ball that is about to come in, guess what? Concentration, focus, dynamic, intensity, everything goes down. So put balls as fast as possible so your players need to react again and again and again as fast as possible. The final topic that we can extract from this video is different tones of voice from head coach to emphasize success and failure. Use different tones of voices because your tonality is what will give the players the idea of what you want, of how important things are to you or not. So if someone does something right and your voice goes to the moon to emphasize it, that player will remember it and will think, wow, that's very important for the coach, I'll try to do that again. On the other side, if you do that with something bad, they will think the same about this, oh, I should never do this again, the coach doesn't like that, etc., etc. And in this way, you prioritize some behaviors over others, and that's how you train a team. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button here on YouTube. It helps me and helps other coaches receive that same content and improve their coaching journey. If you want to see more content like that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and check our other social media, Instagram, Facebook, lots of content there for soccer coaches, players, and aficionados. Check my other videos in that same channel, and I'll see you in the next videos.